Do you want to know the secret behind my most successful war team ever? Well, you're in luck, because I'm about to dissect it. Hello guys, and thank you for joining me today. This time we have a special kind of video. So this time I'm going to go in depth and explain exactly how my anti-minion team works. So as you can see, this team has a 100% win rate, which is absolutely incredible. And yes, I actually did go over all of my footage, all of my past videos, and I've checked each and every one of them to see how this particular team performed. And actually, it was exactly 47 videos and 47 wins, so 47 wars. I did not include Rush Attack Wars because I did not use this team in particular. So there were some combinations of heroes, but no teams were that I would classify as this particular anti-minion team. And with having said this, let's jump into it. So my famous anti-minion team, not so famous to be honest, but I love it. It's famous for me. It consists of the following 5 heroes. So as you can see here, we have Costume Kirill, rarely but still sometimes used classic version. He has limit broken, as you can see. The other healer, the other 4-star here, is also limit broken. Yes, and also the other limit broken hero. It's Sabina, or Costume Sabina. And sometimes I would swap her out for Costume Regard. So in this particular situation, I don't really care too much which one of them it is. Perhaps there would be a Costume Melendor or a Classic Melendor instead of one of these 2 healers. And of course, the 5 stars from this team, there's Grimble with almost max emblems, a maxed out Lepiota, and almost maxed emblems Onatel. So, like I've said, statistically, this team has performed marvelously. But I haven't used it in Rush because I don't think that it is the best team to use in Rush. Like, I believe there are some better options. And also I want to say that I actually did use it in War Equalizer type wars, which is also not a strong suit for this team because it really depends on and relies on status effects. So, for example, attack, defense down, okay, Grimble is fine. Her whole special skill can get cleansed by War Equalizer. The same goes for Onatel and Costume Regard. So, with good care and with proper timing and planning, it is still usable. And yes, in these situations, I would probably use classic version of Regard, Sabina, or Melendor in order to get to avoid getting dispelled. So my thoughts behind this team are as follows. So basically, a really important aspect of this team is that it is not universal. It cannot beat any minion team, but it's really specifically made. It's tailor-made mainly to face off against Freyas, but also Beras, and other minion makers. It is really good in this meta because most of the minion makers are tanks now. Of course, if there are some others, like Frost, for example, on the flanks or wings, it also helps. It helps make this team even more effective. So basically, Freya as a tank, she was problematic, and she was really, when I made this team, she was really, I don't know, you could see her so often. She was, I'd say the most popular tank at the moment, and any other minion makers at the tank position would do. And we have some new ones like Hulda that are popular now, and this team is also great against her, but I haven't tested it as much. So basically with Freya or Bera, you do not want to kill them too quickly. So that's why having free purples is actually a good thing I will not kill them with tiles. And I can stall them and use them, even abuse them to gain more mana. So the essence of this team is stealing and disabling the enemies. There's basically no real damage dealers in this team. So we have Onatel, who drains the mana from the opponents. And we have Lepiota, who puts the opponents in the abyss. Yeah, some sort of abyss. And just takes them out of the game. So in that sense, this team is quite different to many other teams that I have personally, but also people run, as in there's no real damage dealer. Going through all of the heroes, I would like to start from Kirill, for example. So he's really good against Freya because he turns her defense up into defense down. In certain other situations, I might go for the classic version if I need his attack up or attack down, if I'm facing different heroes, and etc. etc. And he's also really good with Grimble because he does not destroy the minions, yet he gives the enemy defense down. And then when Grimble does his damage, so he gets rid of the minions and then bypasses them basically, and then does direct damage to the enemies that have their defense lowered, making his hit not significantly, but at least a bit stronger. And he also has added attack from the 2019 family bonus, so that kind of helps him, but it's also not significant. But it's all about the small things, the details. They add up and make a good team. And yes, also the attack down from Kirill and his heal, it helps. It really helps me buy time for the rest of my units to get charged. And also he is charged in 9 tiles. He only needs, I believe, depending on the costume bonus and the talent grid, he needs, I think, only a level 1 mana troop in my situation, but level 5 is enough in any, regardless of the emblems, which is also good, so he's functionally fast. The next thing I want to say is if there's an Odin on the flank or possibly even on the wing, this team is especially good because it has free purple, so I can use tile damage against him. And also we have Onatel, which is who is yellow, which means that we are looking to make yellow matches. And making yellow matches removes the yellow tiles from the board, which further decreases the damage and effectiveness of Odin. The next person in line is Grimble. With his talents and his troops, he can charge in 9 tiles, and this is, I cannot emphasize this enough, this is so important. So having a 23 or higher mana troop, or level 17 mana troop with this mana node, which I have at the moment, not 17, but I'm still not at 23. This enables Grimble to fire also in 9 tiles. When I used him at 10 tiles, it was still okay, but a lot harder. And in this regard, so when he charges in 9 tiles, that means that he can fire faster and steal the mana from enemy. Not steal, but kill their minions and get the mana for the rest of the team. So basically, the sooner he charges, the sooner the rest of the team charges as well. Basically, how he works is he destroys the minions first, then does damage, and then gives mana. All allies get a small amount of mana for each destroyed minion. This small amount of mana, I don't believe that it's been confirmed exactly, but it is around 0.8 tiles worth of mana per minion killed, which means 12 minions for Grimble are enough to charge him, while 10 minions are enough to charge Lepiota. I'm not too sure about these numbers, but from my testing, it appears to be so. Which means if the enemy tank, let's say Freya, fired 3 times, basically my whole team would be charged. And let's see now. The next person that we have is Lepiota. So Lepiota She works really well against taunt heroes, especially against Krampus when there's Grimble on the team. So Krampus would be one of the targeted heroes in this case. So how does this work? It's really easy. She can dispel Krampus's taunt while not killing his minion, and that enables me to fire Grimble, who will then eat all of the minions. All of the minions on the entire enemy team. So in the situation where Krampus unfortunately fires, and I would need a dispel, I can just use Lepiota, put him in the abyss, and then, of course, if I have, let's say, Sabina or Costume Sabina, I can dispel first any enemy buffs. If I have Costume Kirill, I can activate him to give them defense down to the whole enemy team. And also, of course, Costume Regard if I have him in my team, which would even further amplify Grimble's damage. And apart from this, Lepiota is a real star. I don't know. I really love this hero, and having her on my team is extremely helpful. And she can just take out the dangerous opponents out of the game, and at the same time provide me with the ghosting lane, which will further help me charge my heroes. Next up is Onatel. She's basically here for mana control, and Onatel and Lepiota together. So she steals generated mana of the target and the nearby enemies over 4 turns, starting low and increasing every turn, until on the last turn all the generated mana is stolen. This effect can be cleansed, but gets removed if the caster dies. What's really good about her is that she's from the Legends 2019 family, so that also gives her a small boost to her low attack damage, but we don't need her to have a high attack stat. And basically, together with Lepiota, she enables me to control the enemies perfectly, to not enable them, to not let them fire, basically. And also, there's a really good interaction between Onatel and Grimble, because they share the elemental link. So Grimble's elemental link, let's see, it gives plus 10% critical chance for 6 turns. This effect can be dispelled to all dark allies. Having 2 of the heroes from Legends family, it means that, okay, bonus for 2+ heroes, elemental link affects all allies. So it doesn't matter which color there are. The 10% critical chance for 6 turns, in my opinion, it's not so important, but it's not bad at all. While Onatel, she has a really nice elemental link that recovers 4% health for all holy allies. So that would be only for her, but with Grimble on the same team, that's for all 5 allies, which, as you can imagine, is really a big boost. At the same time, it's only plus 4% HP, which is not anything drastic, but it does add up, because according to my testing and calculations, that is in this team, that equals 60 plus 63 all the way up to 73 HP per turn, which is then converted to 378 to 438 HP over these 6 turns, which is not too much, but it's, you know, when you consider that it's just an elemental link and you have all 5 heroes healing for this amount, I think it is substantial at this point. When she gets going and when she starts spamming her abilities, the enemies cannot gain mana because she is perpetually stealing it from them, and she's gaining more and more mana, with Grimble helping her to just gain even more and spam it. So it is quite a vicious cycle. Next up, we have Costume Regard. He is a really good hero, one of the best 4-stars, one of the best healers in the game. He provides a cleanse, which is very good and useful versus this meta, especially, for example, versus Beras, I don't know. The classic Regard, however, is good versus Fiends. I love taking him against Hannah's or Elizabeth's, and also in War Equalizer because he cannot get dispelled. So, as I mentioned before, the other healer that can fit into this spot is Sabina or Costume Sabina. I prefer Costume Sabina because she's just, in my opinion, a better hero. So as you can see, my emblems are kind of split so that I can use both versions. I don't know if this is the best option, but I prefer having an opportunity to choose which side of the card I want to use, the classic or the skin, or rather costume. So she's basically awesome. Oh, I need to get some water. She's basically awesome versus taunt heroes, dodge heroes, also other buffs like counterattack, because the custom Sabina version, she can prevent them. Amazing against taunt heroes especially. And the classic version, she's good against fiends for the same reason. It gives a flat heal and gets rid of them quicker. And in War Equalizer, but I don't use her often because I feel like the skin is far more superior. And as for the troops, Onatel only needs a level 17 mana troop in order to fire 9 tiles, but at the moment I recently got my mana troop to level 23. In this case, she doesn't need the mana node. Lepiota is fast, she doesn't need a mana troop. Grimble, as I said, he needs with this, same story as Onatel. And Sabina in regard, same story as Kirill, they only need a small mana troop. That explains my current situation. And also, I want Lepiota to survive as long as possible. That's why I'm giving her the tank troop, which I have at the level 13 because I didn't know at the time that mana troops are so superior, at least in my opinion. And as for the stats, as you can see, I limit broke Kirill and Sabina because I value them a lot. They are 4 stars, and in my opinion, they need a bit of help, especially Sabina, stat-wise, just to survive more. I don't care about their damage, while Costume Regard is really built properly, and he has low damage, high HP, and high armor. This is why I feel like he does not need the Eaters. He doesn't need to be limit broken, even though at some point I might do it. But so far, so good. I'm not having any issues using him just like this. Well, in conclusion, this team requires patience. It's not a team of damage dealers. It's a team of a manipulating team. It controls and limits the movements of the enemy team. Just completely immobilizes the enemy team, and then it's a lot easier for me to breathe and take my time. So another thing that I want to point out is that this team is a 3-1-1 setup. So you have 3 out of the 5 colors, and getting any of the colors is really helpful. Essentially, if you count the elemental link, this means that getting any of the colors will provide healing for my team, for this team. So, like I said in conclusion, it's really about finding the right opponent. So I said this in the beginning, finding the proper enemy to face with this team. So any minion maker teams, tanks, especially Bera, many minion maker flanks and wings like Frost, let's say Krampus is a really good target, Mother North. If there are snipers in the enemy team, that can be dangerous because I don't want any of my heroes to die, of course. That sounds obvious, but snipers can one-shot potentially any of these heroes, especially my weak 4-star, weak in comparison 4-star healers, which I really need. So yes, you should avoid snipers if you want to recreate this team. And after finding a proper opponent, you should immobilize them and take your sweet time to just whittle them down bit by bit. Make the enemy minion makers fire, spam them, and abuse them with Grimble. I was gonna do a raid, to be honest, against a team that I thought would be a decent target. As you can see, it's my friend Raf from my alliance. Krampus, I can counter him with Lepiota and with Costume Sabina. Bera shouldn't be an issue. Octros, if I get some of my heroes ready and perhaps get Costume Kirill ready, he shouldn't be an issue. While Falin might be dangerous, but it's only on the right side. If I play on the left side, I believe that I will win without any issues. In any case, since this video is way too long, I won't go for this. If you want, I can do it in a follow-up video. But for now, I would like to thank you very much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and let me know your thoughts about it down in the comments. And yeah, this is the first video of this kind. I'm really not sure if it would work, if you guys enjoy it. So any comments, any tips or advice or whatever, I would be really grateful to receive it. So thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.